I think philosophy matters most when it's felt in a person and related to your daily life, so I write from a perspective of somebody for whom that's the case. My name is Maggie Nelson, and I'm a writer. I'm a writer who makes use of a lot of different disciplines, from criticism to philosophy to journalism to poetry, to talk about contemporary problems, be they sexual violence or the nature of beauty. I'm just trying to get my thoughts out in the way that seems most fitting, and sometimes that takes the form of narrative autobiography, sometimes it takes the form of cultural criticism. It just depends on the problem at hand. The Argonauts is, I call it auto theory, which is a combination of autobiography and critical theory, and it was really taking the last 30 years of study of feminist and queer theory and combining it with an examination of current issues around gay marriage, queer family making, transgender issues, queer maternity. It kind of was a snapshot of the times vis-a-vis my life, and also using theory and philosophy. If you're bothered by an idea, you're not bothered by it in the abstract, you're bothered by it because it really is possessing you in some way. So, one example is that my aunt was murdered, and I wrote 2 books about my aunt's murder. And during that time of researching her murder and going to the trial of the suspect, I became very interested in how violence works in representation, because her death happened, but then it was re-represented in the media and re-represented in true crime books. And so all of that interest in representation of a cruel act became the focus of another book of mine, The Art of Cruelty, which was all about not literal acts of violence, but what violence and representation does. It had a personal root to me that made the subject feel very hot. As a writer, not all the time, but you have to go into an idea that feels, nerve-wracking in some way to take a risk. And it can be hard because often as you're going into it, you're thinking, this is a really bad idea, and I can't tell if it's a good bad idea or if it's just a bad idea. And you have to see it all the way through to determine. When I got the call, I wept, actually. I think it just seemed incredible. This is, something I just never would have imagined in terms of recognition. So, and obviously it'll be very transformative for my work and my family, so it's amazing.